Hello, this is Newslive on Viewer Television. I am Mbasiti Jesse. Here are the headlines. Federal government declares Friday, Monday public holidays. Terrorists demand detained 16 commanders in exchange for over 100 abductees. Plus, dust storm hits the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed optimism that Nigeria's bid to expand its maritime territory under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea is fully on course and will be achieved without war, litigation, or purchase. The president gave the assurance on Tuesday in Abuja while receiving a progress report from the high-powered Presidential Committee on Nigeria's Extended Continental Shelf Project. Buhari assured the committee chaired by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, of his full support for Nigeria's submission to the United Nations for the additional maritime area under the recognized international convention. The federal government has declared Friday, April the 15th and Monday, April the 18th, 2022 as public holidays to mark the celebration of Easter. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, made this known in a statement by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Shuaib Belgore, on Tuesday, while urging Christians to emulate the attributes of sacrifice, togetherness, forgiveness, kindness, love, peace, and patience, as exemplified by Jesus Christ's ministry on earth. He asked them to pray for an end to the insecurity bedeviling the country. The minister, however, assured that the federal government would leave no stone unturned to ensure that the recent attacks by undesirable elements on the highways, airport, and the railway are timely brought to an end. The bandits who attacked the Kaduna-Abuja train are demanding the release of 16 top commanders and sponsors in government custody in exchange for the release of the over 100 individuals abducted from the derailed train on March the 28th. Dependable security sources said the bandits carried out the violent attack on the train just to abduct passengers who could be used to bargain for the release of their commanders and sponsors in detention. Newsmen gathered that the arrest of the suspects had severely hampered the deadly activities of the bandits who are collaborating with the Boko Haram terrorist group to unleash malevolent attacks across the country. The terrorists had on March 28 at Katairi, Kaduna State, attacked the train which was heading for Kaduna from Abuja. Elder statesmen in Nigeria said except measures were taken to curtail the trend, widespread insecurity could scuttle the 2023 general election. The elder statesmen include the President of Christian Association of Nigeria, Samson Ayokunle, and the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar, raised the concerns during a security dialogue retreat jointly organized by the Global Peace Foundation and Vision Africa in Abuja. They raised the alarm that there might be no election in 2023 if the current spate of insecurity in the country was not checked. The Sultan of Sokoto, who was represented by the co-chair of the Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace, Sheikh Kunle Sani, expressed frustration over the federal government's seeming unwillingness to persecute arrested bandits and terrorists, including their sponsors. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has called Borno State PDP delegates to support his presidential ambition ahead of the 2023 elections. The governor, in company of some PDP party chieftains, was in Maiduguri to solicit for support of the delegates and party members. The presidential aspirant said he possessed qualities of leadership to rule the country. He lamented over the insecurity and inflation bedeviling the country. He promised to end poverty and fix the economy if elected into power.
People are insecurity in Borno State. Today, insecurity all over Nigeria. Hunger does not know Muslim. Hunger does not know Christian. Insecurity does not know Muslim. Insecurity does not know Christian. Insecurity does not know North. insecurity does not know south. When you say you want agriculture, you want food, how can there be food when we cannot go to the farm? Can you go to the farm? No. And you are saying you are bringing money for agriculture. Which agriculture? How will you go to the farm? People are dying every day. I want you to give me the ticket.
Who will give you
the ticket is in your hand. And I want you to give me that ticket. So I can fly the flag of PDP. And I will go and take the power from these people who are failed. And come back to PDP on behalf of Nigerians.
Yes.
And we should support him to ensure he has gotten the ticket of the party so that he can turn around the fortunes of this country. Today, Nigeria is in deep crisis. Insecurity is at the highest level. Inflation is always increasing. Our heartbeat is always beating hard. We don't know what to say. Governance have been turned into something else. But with him around, we know he will do that.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, on Tuesday resigned as senator representing Nasarawa West Senatorial District. This was even as the newly elected Deputy National Chairman North, Abubakar Kyari, also resigned as lawmaker representing Borno North District. The resignation letters of both lawmakers were read by the Senate President Ahmad Lawan during plenary. Senator Abdullahi Adamu, until his election as national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, chaired the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development. When Newslive returns, the House of Representatives has passed a bill seeking to establish a National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund. Details of this and more comes to you after the break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Newslive. A recap about top stories. The federal government declares Friday, Monday public holidays. Terrorists demand detain 16 commanders in exchange for over 100 abductees. Plus, dust storm hits the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. The House of Representatives has passed a bill seeking to establish a National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund. The NYC Trust Fund Establishment Bill passed the third reading at the plenary on Tuesday. The legislation is titled the Bill for an Act to Establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund for the purpose of providing a sustainable source of funds for the National Youth Service Corps, skill acquisition, training, and empowerment of Corps members, training and retraining of the personnel of the National Youth Service Corps, development of camps and NYSC formations and facilities therein, and for related matters. Sponsored by a member of the House, Samuel Akinfolarin, the NYC Trust Fund Establishment Bill 2021 passed the first reading at the House on December the 16th, 2021, and the second reading on January the 20th, 2022. The U.S. Latin American Chamber of Commerce, Africa, has called on foreign investors to invest in Nigeria's untapped economic potential for the country's development. Ifeoma Ejiogu, African representative, American Chamber of Commerce, made the call when she led a delegation on a courtesy visit to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Abuja.
And comparative advantages of Africa are really great. These are found in agriculture, mineral resources, energy, education, aviation, ICT, emerging technologies, social enterprises, and many others. Although project funding, credit, and infrastructural financing, among others, have been a major challenge, Like Africa believes that with global partnership, we shall make it happen. It's not only Nigeria that has security problems. We are giving people confidence that Nigeria can still be a place to do business and that there are things here that could attract people to come and do something here. Our mineral resources, our businesses, our untapped opportunities.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, who was represented by Akinremi Bolaji, Director, Economic Trade and Investment of the Ministry, appreciated the team for the visit and assured of its readiness to collaborate with the organization.
Let us not limit this just to Nigeria. Let us reach out to our missions. We will like to work with what you have. We will look at this and see how we can add value to it. Our desire is to make it happen. You know, like our colleague from Congo said, that Africa has all it takes to develop Africa. And our goal should be Africa developing Africa. And Africa cannot develop Africa until Africa begins to help Africa. We need to start helping each other. Your goal, your vision must not be allowed to die down if I can help your vision. So we're going to help your vision in every way possible.
The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the alleged disappearance of transit buses provided by the federal government for transport service within the FCT. This followed the adoption of a motion by Rep. Ikenna Elezianya, PDP Imo, at the plenary on Tuesday in Abuja. Moving the motion, Elezianya noted that the provision of long buses in Abuja, apart from creating jobs and generating revenue, was targeted at alleviating the sufferings of the citizens. He added that the provision of the buses were designed to ease the commuting challenges of civil and public servants to and from their offices to ensure effective discharge of their duties. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, Abuja Zone, says there will be no resumption in public universities until the renegotiated 2009 agreement is signed, implemented, and the University Transparency and Accountability Solution deployed. The ASU Zonal Coordinator, Dr. Salawul Lawal, made this known during a press conference at the University of Abuja in Gwagwalada. According to him, members are ready to return to their duty post as soon as their demands are met by the federal government. Also on Monday in Ibadan, ASU flayed the Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajoba, over what it described as a reckless comment that the union is mean and wicked for shutting down universities. The Oyo State Coordinator of Female Genital Mutilation, Balikis Olawin, has urged collective efforts to stop FGM practice. Olawin, who made the call at the FGM training program organized for journalists by ACL initiatives in Ibadan, said that FGM was harmful to girls and women and had no health benefits.
Harmful practice, the menace that we call female genital mutilation, can be stopped if all of us, like I said, every individual, because we are all in the same boat, agree that the practice is an harmful practice that does not have any benefits, and we willingly change our attitude and belief towards it. And by saying this, all the community gatekeepers must key into the program, starting from the traditional rulers, religious leaders, all the leaders of our associations, and even the governments should not relent in their attitude, in their efforts to create awareness on the health consequences of the practice.
On his part, the monitoring officer, Emmanuel Oni, monitoring and evaluation officer of the ACL initiative, said the organization has received support from the government.
We would not even be talking about this if it has not been for the government. So we've had the passage of many laws, including the VAP Act. And in Oyo State, for example, we have the Violence Against Women and Girls law that has been passed and is already been implemented. With this law, the government has given us enough support and go ahead to officially prosecute, any perpetrator of FGM that is caught in the act. And the passage of this law has also given most of us that work in this space, the support necessary to work with security agencies and security operatives to ensure that we bring this negative cultural practice to an end.
Chairperson of National Association of Women Journalists in Oyo State said that there was a need for a holistic approach to the elimination of FGM in the society.
Who have been involved in FGM, female genital mutilation. A lot of women do not want their girl children to be mutilated. But it is also some mothers that encourage, female genital mutilation. So the question is, what role are we playing as mothers? We are the ones that are taking these girl children for mutilation. We are the grandmothers or mother-in-laws who says that our girl children in our families must be mutilated. I think as mothers, we should begin to canvass, advocate so that female genital mutilation should end in our society. Female genital mutilation should be a thing of the past. It is an harmful practice. It doesn't have any health benefit to anyone. And it does not stop anybody from being promiscuous. I always say that government cannot do it alone. You see a lot of partners collaborating with government. You see the likes of UNFPA collaborating, you see UNICEF collaborating, you see Haiti Health Initiative collaborating, and you see, even NAWAJ collaborating, and other women groups like FIDA, like NCWS, Form 1, and all of that. There's need for, holistic approach.
The federal government, in collaboration with World Bank, has launched the Agroclimatic Resilience and Semi-Arid Landscapes, a CRISIL project, to address environmental challenges in Nigeria's north. Mohammed Abdullahi, Minister of Environment at the pre-launch mission of the World Bank in Abuja, said that the project would last for 5 to 6 years. Sharon Ikiazo, Minister of State Ministry of Environment, said that collective action in the implementation of the project will bring positive results.
A very important trajectory, in the sense that it's going to ensure that our lands, our watershed system, our ecosystem in the north is managed in such a way that it can be productive, both for agriculture, for water provision, and indeed to be susceptible to the climate. We thank the World Bank for initiating this project, and we assure you that from the Ministry of Environment, we will do all the best we can to support and ensure that the political will to drive this project in accordance with the mandate and objectives of the project are achieved.
This program will solve at least 70% of the issues of insecurity we're having in the north. As the world is suffering a planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, land degradation, this program will tackle all of that. And I am so glad that the three ministries are not working in silos. The three ministries are bonding together and working together to achieve this. Because without agriculture in environment, water resources in environment, we will not be able to meet.
The World Bank Country Director to Nigeria, Shubham Chaudhuri, said that the bank will continue to support Nigeria to ensure that the objective of the project was achieved. Also speaking, Dr. Mahmoud Abubakar, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, explained that the project was initiated by the World Bank when he was the Minister of the Environment.
Please keep in mind that at heart, what this program is about is to improve the lives, reduce insecurity, and give opportunities and hope to all communities across northern Nigeria. We're very happy to support it. I do want to say, this is not a World Bank program. This is a program, a government program, a national program that we have the privilege of supporting.
This is a sure banker successful project by the grace of God. And I can assure you the commitment of the three ministries: environment, water resources, and agriculture, to see to the success of AgriSalt in the next 5 to 6 years that this project will be running.
Dr. Suleiman Adamu, Minister of Water Resources, urged all the states, local governments, and other beneficiaries of the project to claim ownership of the project for sustainability. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, who spoke on behalf of other governors, said that the project will benefit all the people in the state.
But I'd like to say that, especially to the state governors and representatives of the state, these programs are not a one-off thing. I think it's very important for us to understand that we need to ensure that there's sustainability. The program has a lifespan. It's going to last a couple of years, and after that, the World Bank will go, all the teams and support teams will go.
One that we need to continue to express great appreciation is the World Bank. For the World Bank to go into this partnership, and at the end of the day, it is the states actually that are beneficiaries of this partnership. And the states are beneficiaries of the partnership, and I believe we can show that. You can see that. You are seeing the effort also the various states are doing about not only the reclamation of the land, but then converting some of those reclaimed areas purely for agriculture.
And now on business news, the federal government has disclosed that over 5,000 debtors currently owe its agencies about 4.67 trillion naira. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, who made the disclosure, said the government had in the past 18 months recovered 53.8 billion naira out of the 5.2 trillion naira owed 10 ministries, departments and agencies. The minister made the disclosure during the launch of the Project Lighthouse Debt Analytics and Reporting Platform in Abuja. She credited the Project Lighthouse and the collaborative efforts of the Office of the Accountant General for the discovery and recovery of the outstanding debts. Agents operating in the nation's maritime sector may withdraw their services following the reintroduction of a 15% National Automotive Council levy on imported used vehicles by the Nigerian Customs Service. NAC had in 2011 proposed 35% duty differentials between imported fully built units and locally assembled cars. The proposal reportedly failed later. But years after the introduction of the levy, the Nigeria Customs Service reintroduced 15% NAC levy on used imported vehicles. Speaking on the development, the chairman of the National Council of Managing Directors of Licensed Customs Agents, Port and Terminal Multi-Purpose Limited Chapter, Abayomi Duyile, said the move could have an adverse effect on the sector. The federal government report seen in Abuja has shown that the collapse of Nigeria's electricity grid actually occurred twice on Friday and Saturday last week, despite concerted efforts to stabilize the power system. Data in the report, which was obtained from the Federal Ministry of Power, showed that the quantum of electricity on the grid crashed over 3,000 megawatts on Friday, April the 8th, 2022, to as low as 10 megawatts around 9 hours same day. Also, another collapse of the national grid occurred on Saturday, April 9, 2022, as the nation's power system collapsed to 33 megawatts around 101 hours after it had earlier posted a peak generation of 3,281.50 megawatts at 00 hours the same day. The report, however, indicated that power generation on the grid moved up on Sunday, April the 10th, 2022, as the off-peak on that day was put at 3,117.40 megawatts, while the peak generation was 3,658.80 megawatts. Massive oil theft, among other challenges, is affecting government finances and threatening Naira stability. Professor Mike Obadan, a professor of economics and also chairman of Goldmark Education Academy, Benin City, said for a long time the oil sector has contributed over 90% of the nation's foreign exchange earnings and external reserves accretion. He said a key challenge to effective forex management remained the pronounced low productivity of the economy, and because of this, the economy was not able to generate enough foreign exchange to meet the high demand for it to import goods and services. And now we move to international news. Dust storms. On the international scene, dust storm hit the Iraqi capital of Baghdad, prompting the cancellation of the flights. As the storm swept south, it shrouded Baghdad and cities as far south as Nasiriyah in a ghostly orange. The storm erupted in the north of the country on Thursday, prompting the cancellation of flights serving Erbil, capital of the autonomous Kurdistan region. In the capital, buildings and vehicles were covered in ochre-colored dust. The storm has caused dozens of hospitalizations across Iraq due to respiratory problems. Thousands of people take to the streets in Sri Lankan capital to protest against President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, with public anger at fever pitch over the country's crippling economic crisis. Sri Lanka's embattled Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has pleaded for patience as thousands continue to take to the streets to protest against his family's rule, with public anger at a fever pitch over the country's worsening economic crisis. Sri Lanka's 22 million residents have seen weeks of power blackouts and severe shortages of food, fuel, and even life-saving medicine, and the country's worst downturn since independence in 1948. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki admitted that fresh monthly inflation data will be extraordinarily elevated when it's released Tuesday after inflation hit a 40-year high of 7.9% last month. NPR reporter Asma Khalid pressed Psaki on the White House's attempt to blame Putin's invasion of Ukraine, saying she had just returned from a reporting trip to Michigan, where many people told her they feel that inflation has predated this war. Inflation is a major liability for Democrats who control both chambers of Congress and the White House headed into this year's midterm elections. At least 5 people have been killed in floods and mudslides across South Africa's port city of Durban following heavy rains in recent days. Days of rains have flooded several areas and shut dozens of roads across the city, which is popular for its idyllic beaches. Video footage shared by private rescue workers and paramedics shows flooded city highways, submerged cars and collapsed houses. The Risk Management Department in the southeastern province of KwaZulu-Natal, of which Durban is the largest city, urged people to stay at home and ordered those residing in low-lying areas to move to higher ground. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he believed tens of thousands of people in Mariupol had been killed as he asked South Korean lawmakers to provide military assistance. Speaking to South Korea's National Assembly by video link, Zelensky said Russia had completely destroyed the besieged city of Mariupol. Zelensky said South Korea could help those countries fight against Russia by providing military equipment from airplanes to tanks.
Вони хочуть зробити так, щоб Маріуполь був показово знищеним містом. Немає і не може бути надії, що Росія просто сама по собі зупиниться. Немає і не може бути надії, що розум переможе і російське керівництво просто відмовиться від продовження цієї війни. Росію можна тільки змусити.
And that's all on Newslive. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Federal government declares Friday, Monday public holidays. Terrorists demand detain 16 commanders in exchange for over 100 abductees. Plus, dust storm hits the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. Many thanks for watching. I am Ambassador Jessie. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.